Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today we'll be doing a tutorial for the module 5410 that's in this GPW-1000 G-Shock. Just like in all my other tutorial videos, in the description you will find a table of content with time codes so you can jump to specific parts of the video or functions of the watch. However, I would advise you to watch the whole video the first time just so you get acquainted with all the functions that this watch offers. Since this is both the simplest watch you will ever encounter when it comes to operating it and the most complicated, I will leave the hands correction and the manual time setup as the last things in the video because they're going to be for advanced users, as 90% of you are just going to be using the basic time setting and basic functions, which are, like I said, very simple. So we're going to cover those first. So the first thing that I want to show you is how to initially set up the time zone or your home city and the time. Unlike other G-Shocks on this, since this is a GPS atomic hybrid, it can determine both your location, thus your home city, and the correct time via GPS satellites, and that makes it the easiest watch to set up initially. So once you get this watch, all you have to do is take it out of the box, step outside with a clear view of the sky, and press this button for more than 3 seconds until the seconds hand moves to this T plus P. As you can see, you have this time, and then over here you have the T plus P. This time is time only reception, but you want to keep it pressed until the seconds move to T plus P because that is time and location or position. So to initially set up the watch, you press and hold this for 3 seconds. You have to wait, still wait, and that's it. Now the needle is showing T plus P and the watch is trying to connect to the satellites. It's determining your location and it's gonna get all the data it needs, the time, date, everything. This is not going to work right now because we're in a closed environment inside a room, but this is how you do it. In under a minute, this watch is going to get all this information. Once it does, that's it. You've just set up the watch. It really is that simple. Since it's not going to work this time, we're going to stop it by pressing this button again. Now, once you do this initially, the watch is going to know your location. Based on your location from now on, the watch is either going to act like an atomic watch, meaning that if it knows that it's within the range of the atomic towers, it's going to automatically try to connect every night. If it fails to connect that night, or if it determines that you're outside of the range, it's going to act as a GPS watch, meaning that every day when it detects levels of light high enough, meaning that it's with a clear view of the sky, it's going to try to connect to the satellites. Naturally, if you do not change your location, you can always initiate a time-only sync with the GPS satellites, and that's actually quite faster. It's going to do it in like 10 to 20 seconds. To initiate, again, you have to step outside and press this for 3 seconds until the needle jumps to time only. Once it jumps to time only, you release. That way you're going to initiate time-only reception. So let's do it right now. Press and hold, and release. Now, this is going to be a much faster connection because, like I said, the watch is just going to update the time. Again, we're going to stop it because we're in a room, so it's not going to work. And this is pretty much it. When you travel to a different location in the world, when you change your time zones, again, you don't have to know what time zone you're in. You don't have to know the local time. All you do is when you land or when you reach your destination, step outside and do the T plus P again by pressing this more than 3 seconds. So it really is an amazingly simple watch to operate. Since the GPS satellites do not have the DST setting or the summertime wintertime switch, you will have to keep doing that manually unless you're within the range of the atomic towers because the atomic towers do it automatically. However, to switch between automatic, standard, and DST, or automatic wintertime and summertime, all you have to do is in the home screen, not even in the home screen, in any screen, you have to unlock the crown by moving it to the red dot, it pops out, and pull it to the second position. Once you put it to the second position, this little needle is going to show you what the current DST is for your time zone, and it's going to show you your time zone. As you can see, the current setting is auto. To switch it between auto, standard, and DST, you simply press and hold this for 1 second. So press and hold, and it's gonna jump to STD, which is standard time. Press and hold, it's gonna jump to DST or summer time, and the time is gonna change accordingly. And again, press and hold, and it's gonna jump back to auto. If you live within the range of the atomic towers, I would advise you to keep it at auto. If you live outside of the range, you're simply going to correct it twice a year by pressing this button with the crown pulled out to the second position. And that's pretty much it. Once you've finished that, you simply close in the crown. Now this watch also displays, as you can see, a secondary time zone right here, which is the world time function. Again, just like with the initial setup, this is also very simple. While in the home screen or home time, you simply pull the crown to the first click, and the seconds hand is going to show you the time of the world time, what this is set up for. And now simply by turning the crown, you're going to change the time zone accordingly. As you can see, the time also changes on the little screen. And that's pretty much it. Again, just like with the home time, you can change the DST setting for the world time as well. So if you select a time zone, this little hand again shows auto, STD or DST. And the same with the home time. Pressing this for 1 second is going to toggle between STD, standard time, DST, which is a summer time, and this is now going to change accordingly, and back to auto. So it's as simple as that. The watch doesn't have the time swap function between these two, which is a shame, but I'm guessing they didn't want to include it because that way you get to do the cool time and position reception whenever you reach your destination. To exit the world time function settings, you simply push in the crown. So the first click is for the world time, the second click is for the home time. And that's pretty much it. While in the home time, pressing this is going to activate the light. Pressing this doesn't do anything, but pressing and holding, like I showed you, is going to initiate the time only reception or time plus position reception. Actually, pressing it is going to show you what the last reception, whether it was successful or not. As you can see, this wasn't successful because we canceled it. And that's pretty much it. Pressing the mode button is going to cycle through different modes, and this hand then doesn't show the days of the week, but it shows different functions. To jump back to the home screen, you simply press and hold the mode button, and the watch is going to beep and jump back to the home screen. So let's cover the next function. The next function is the chronograph. Pressing the mode button, where it's going to go to the ST or stopwatch. Once in the stopwatch, this is going to measure the 20th of the second, and this here is going to be a 24-minute stopwatch. So we're starting it with the upper button. As you can see, this hand moves really fast, and this is now seconds, and the hour hand of the subdial is actually minutes. So it's the 24-minute stopwatch. So this, unlike regular Casio stopwatches, this one doesn't have split time. So you can, pressing this button doesn't do anything. So all you can do is stop it and reset it back to 0. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the stopwatch. Moving on. The next function is the countdown timer. Again, this subdial here is going to be a 24-hour countdown timer. So these minute hands are going to be minute hands, and the hour hand are going to be hours. The seconds are going to be seconds. So once in the countdown timer, pressing the upper button is going to start counting down. Once the countdown timer reaches 0, it's going to beep. And you can naturally stop it and reset it to the last setting in memory. You can naturally also set it up to any time desired in 1-minute increments from 1 minute to 24 hours. To do so, you have to pull the crown to the first click. Do not put it to the second, because if you pull it to the second click, it's going to jump back to the home screen or home time selection. So you just pull it to the first click, and now moving the crown is going to move the countdown timer, as you can see, in 1-minute increments. You can also do the speed scrolling by spinning the crown at least 3 clicks quite fast. And then it's going to start moving rapidly, and it has even a second gear where if you repeat it again, it's going to go even faster, like so. To stop it, you simply pull it in the other direction, and it can go both ways, like so. Once you've set it up to the desired time of the countdown timer, you'll simply stop it, and close the crown. But mind you that this is a 24-hour countdown timer, not a 12-hour display. So the 6 is right here, and over here, down here is actually 12, not 6. It's something you have to keep in mind when setting this up. So if we close the crown, we've just set up the countdown timer. If we start it now, it's gonna start counting down from here until it reaches 0. Again, if we stop it and reset it, it's gonna reset back to this, not to midnight. And that's it when it comes to the countdown timer. Moving on, the next function is the alarm. Now this watch comes with one daily alarm, and the alarm is displayed using these hands right here, just like with the countdown timer and the stopwatch. And the cool thing about it is that you have the home time visible at all times. Now once in the alarm, the seconds hand is going to show you whether the alarm is turned on or off with this red here, letterings here. As you can see now it's set off. To turn it on, you simply press the lower button. Now it's turned on. To turn it off again, you simply press this button again. Naturally, you can set up the alarm to any time in the 24-hour range. And to do so, you simply pull the crown to the first click again, not the second. So once you put it to the first click, it's automatically turned itself on. And now, just like with the countdown timer, you can set it up by spinning the crown. And you can also speed scroll like this. And again, mind you, when you're setting this up, that this is a 24-hour display. That 6 is here, 12 is here, and 18 is here. Once you've set up the alarm, you simply push in the crown, and that's it. The watch is gonna ring every day at the desired time. And that's pretty much it when it comes to all the functions. Pressing the mode button again just takes you back to the home screen. Okay, now it's time for some of those advanced functions that I mentioned at the beginning. The first one is not advanced, but I just forgot to mention it, and that's checking the battery. Now this watch is solar powered, meaning it's self-charging. So it has actually 4 levels of battery, just like any other Casio watch. You have high, medium, low, and charge. But unlike Casio watches that have actual indicators, this one is going to indicate the 4 levels by using the seconds hand whenever you go back to the home screen. It's going to display the level of the charge for a couple of seconds after which the seconds hand is going to resume its operation. And the levels are displayed by 4 levels like this. So this, if the seconds hand shows to 12, it's high. If it shows to 2 o'clock, it's medium. If it shows to 4 o'clock, it's low. And if it's down to 6, that means it's time to charge the watch. It only has a couple of days left. So to do it, to demonstrate it, let's jump to any other time mode or function mode and jump back to the home screen like this. As you can see, it's at high and now it resumes. So let's do it again. Let's go to alarm, because in the countdown timer and stopwatch the seconds hand also shows at 12, so it's not really visible. Okay, now as you can see, the alarm, the seconds hand is here, and if we jump back to the home screen, it's gonna jump to display the battery level and resume operation as a seconds hand. So this watch is at high. And that's pretty much it. Another thing that this watch can do is turn the airplane mode on or off. As you can see, you have this little plane here. That means that it's going to disable its radio and GPS functionalities to not interfere with airplane navigation instruments. To do so, you press and hold the mode button in the home screen without the crown being pulled out. So the crown has to be pushed in, and you simply press and ignore the first beep. And that's it. This long beep means that the watch has just jumped into the airplane mode. And this hand is not going to show you the day of the week, but it's going to show this little airplane. To exit the airplane mode, you do the same. So you press and hold, still hold, and there. We just exited the airplane mode. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so now let's show you how to manually set up the time. To manually set up the time on this watch, you have to pull the crown to the second click. Once you do that, the seconds hand is going to show you the time zone that the watch is set for. And to change your home city or time zone, you simply you simply twist the crown. You can go clockwise or counterclockwise. Once you've selected this, the next thing that you can change is the DST setting, which I already showed you by pressing this for a second, like so. And that is the second setting that you're doing, like so. Let's go back to auto. And finally, to change the hours, minutes, and date, month, and year, because this is a perpetual calendar watch, while the crown is pulled out to the second position, you have to press and hold the mode button for more than 10 seconds. It is a pretty long press, but I guess they thought that nobody would ever use the manual time setting because the watch does it so beautifully with a single press of a button automatically. So really this is something that I will probably never ever use, but I want to show you because I want to cover everything that the watch can do. So press and hold the mode button for 10 seconds, like I said, until you hear a beep and the seconds hand is going to jump to 12. There. Now you're setting up the hours and minutes by turning the crown. And again, you can do the fast spinning of the hands. As you can see, you have a 24-hour indicator right here so that you know whether the watch is showing AM or PM. Once you've set up the hours and minutes, you press the mode button. And now things get a bit tricky for people who are used to Casio watches because this is something very unique. Pressing the mode button, the seconds hand is going to ask you for the one or the tens of the years. So since this is 2019, it's going to be at 1 because it's 19. If we had 2020, we would have to move the seconds hand to number 2. If the year was, I don't know, 2030 something, you would have to move it to 3. I'm sorry, I jumped to 4. Since this is 2019, we're going to go back to 1. Pressing the mode button again, the watch is going to ask you for the ones of the years. Like I said, 2019, so the seconds hand is showing 9. If we wanted 2018, we would go here. Now mind you, you cannot go to 2010 and 2011 by moving this to 10 or 11. You have to change the ones. So moving it forward, it's just going to jump to 0. Like this. This is now 2010. Let's go back to 2019. Pressing the mode button again, the seconds hand is going to ask you for the month. Now it's displaying, as you can see, the 7th month. So this is July. If we want to go to August, we would spin it here. September, here. And we can go backwards. So this is a bit tricky because the watch doesn't tell you it's asking for ones of years or tens of years or the month. You have to know it. This is why I said this is a bit tricky. The day of the week is determined automatically based on the date, month, and everything, so the watch is not going to ask you that. But now, pressing the mode button again, it's going to ask us for the date. As you can see, the date just moved slightly. And now again, turning the crown is going to make the date change. And it really changes it a bit slowly, if I may add, like so. If you spin it fast, it's going to start moving and it's not going to stop until you stop it by turning the crown in the other direction, which is something that I apparently just did. So we're going to let it spin a bit more because we're going to show you the hands correction, which is definitely going to take the disc to the first, but we're just going to stop it now. Like so. So this is now it. Once you press the mode button again, the watch jumps back to the selection of the time, and now you can sync it to the atomic clock or some accurate watch that you have by simply closing the crown. Once you close the crown, the seconds are going to start from 0. And that's it. You've just set up this watch manually. And the last thing that I want to show you is how to set up the hands, or should I say correct the position of the hands. Because this watch does it automatically, it's also something you probably will never have to do. But these subdial hands are not corrected automatically. So if they get messed up, you're going to have to change them, or should I say adjust them manually. The hour, minute, and second hand are going to be done automatically, and I believe the watch does it by itself periodically, so it's always going to be accurate. Now to initiate the setting of the hands, all you have to do is pull the crown to the second position and press and hold the lower button for more than 5 seconds. So you press and hold, and there. And now, as you can see, the watch is moving the hours, minutes, seconds hand because it's trying to find the correct position. So these three are going to be done by the watch automatically. If everything is okay, they should stop at midnight. However, I'm going to show you one correction that you can do to the hour and minute hand, and it's down to the 24-hour display, because the watch doesn't know whether it's showing the correct position when it comes to the 24-hour hand. It can sometimes mess those things up. If it does, so if it stops at noon instead of midnight, which is something that's probably going to happen now because I messed up the hands earlier, you have to correct that. And I'm going to show you once the watch spins all the way. And there, the watch just realigned its hands back to midnight. If by any chance the hands stop at midnight, but this 24-hour hand is showing 12 instead of midnight, all you have to do while doing this hands correction is press and hold this for more than 2 seconds, which is going to tell the watch that it just messed up by 12 hours. So it's going to spin the hands until this goes here. But like I said, this is the correct position. I'm not going to do it because it really takes a lot of time. So most of the times the watch is going to do it correctly. If by any chance you notice that this little hand is pointing to 12, you simply press this for more than 2 seconds. Now with the hours, minutes, seconds and this subdial set up, we have to move on. To move on, you press the mode button. Now the watch is going to spin these and ask you if they're pointing to midnight. If they're not, you would simply correct them with the crown. Since this one is, we're just going to leave it like this. Pressing the mode button again, the watch is going to ask you for this hand subdial whether it's pointing straight up. If it doesn't, again, you correct it with the crown, like so. And pressing the mode button again, the watch is going to ask you for the date. It has to show 1. If it doesn't show 1, you have to spin it until it goes to 1, because that is the initial setup of the position. That's it. Pressing the mode button again would initiate again the correction of this. Once all the hands are showing straight up or midnight and this is showing 1, it means everything is correct with the position of the hands, and to complete the procedure you simply push in the crown and the watch jumps back to showing the correct time. And that's pretty much it. So like I said, both the simplest and most complicated watch to operate ever. I love the simplicity of the initial setup and I love how easy it is to use the functions, but the manual time setup and the hands position can be a bit tricky. Luckily, it's something that an average user will probably never have to use during the lifetime of this watch. Well, that's it when it comes to this tutorial, so I really hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.